Today we're going to be going over the Cold War and most notably the powers that were involved in the Cold War. So first we have the Western Bloc, which is also known as the First World. It includes the Western countries or the Western part. So countries like the United States, which was kind of the ringleader, and it kind of was followed by countries such as Greece, Norway, Iceland, the United Kingdom, France, Denmark, and most notably Western Germany. These countries were also more capitalistic in a sense, so while the Eastern side, which we'll get to in a second, was a lot more communist, this side was more capitalistic sense. And one of the biggest parts of this side of the Western Bloc was the North Atlantic Treaty Organization known as NATO, which is really just a treaty of organizations between these countries and kind of a way to fight the influence of the East. So next we have the Eastern Bloc, which is also known as the Second World. This includes the Eastern countries and powers such as the Soviet Union, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, East Germany, Hungary, Poland, Romania. However, the most notable is the Soviet Union. And it's also important to mention the Third World in this. The Third World was actually China, which was kind of behind the Soviet Union, but not so involved in the war. So again, this side was more communist, while the Western side was more capitalistic. These countries were more on the communism side, and they followed more of the rules of the Soviet Union. And just like NATO was part of the Western Bloc, the Eastern Bloc had its own organization called the Warsaw Treaty Organization, which followed more of a communistic sense and kind of had a lot of agreement between these specific countries. And the last thing I want to touch on is the dissolution of the USSR. So this kind of ended the bloc system, notably the Eastern Bloc. This was the collapse of the USSR, and which was also the Soviet Union. And as a result, many of the other countries that were communist powers ended up falling and became a different kind of government after that. And this also resulted in the end of the Berlin Wall, which was the end of the Cold War.